Backyard builders across continents attack impossible aviation dreams using salvaged car engines, generator power plants, roofing materials as rotor blades, and extraordinary determination. These projects represent extreme home-built philosophy, where resources vanish, but dreams persist stubbornly. Today we examine 10 builders, proving physics remains merciless judge, regardless of courage invested. Welcome to Can Backyard Builders Create Aircraft from Pure Scrap? Show the Gabriel project at an EAA gathering in the United States and expect 3 distinct reactions. One person laughs, another crosses themselves nervously, and the third asks about power-to-weight ratio with genuine engineering curiosity. The Gabriel represents that type of builder who never waits for manuals, kits, or firewall-forward packages arriving complete from established suppliers. Instead, he surveys available resources locally, selects the most improbable target imaginable, and declares with absolute confidence that this thing will fly regardless of conventional wisdom, suggesting otherwise. The project begins classically for artisan aviation: tubular metal structure welded by hand, truss fuselage construction, fixed landing gear, direct mechanical controls without sophisticated servo systems. Nothing involves exotic composites or computer numeric controlled machining, creating perfect parts. Philosophy remains simple as possible. If you can cut, drill, and weld the material, you can test the result immediately. Instead of Rotax 912, Lycoming 0235, or even Volkswagen aeronautical conversion, he selects Toyota NZD because this engine sits available locally, costs less, weighs reasonably, and carries solid durability reputation in automotive applications. Technically, the Toyota NZD delivers decent power-to-weight ratio on paper, but marriage with propeller creates substantial problems requiring solutions. Without properly dimensioned propeller speed reduction unit, builders face 2 painful choices: either engine spins excessively high, throwing propeller tips near Mach numbers with terrible efficiency and vibration, or you limit rotation, never reaching power levels the wing needs for sustaining fuselage weight. During runway testing, this limitation appears clearly. Aircraft begins rolling, accelerates somewhat, gains modest speed, but never achieves rotation point with adequate safety margin for actual flight. Structure itself reveals limitations through simple profiles, total weight remaining high for thrust generated, wing with relatively small area lacking sophisticated high-lift devices, augmenting performance. Add runway without generous length typical of American airports, and you create perfect scenario for aircraft only accomplishing fast taxi runs without sustained flight. Across continents in rural Kenya, another builder takes minimalism to extreme levels using generator engines and plastic bag wings. Imagine driving down dirt road near village, moving like four-wheeler with wings attached awkwardly across metal frame. This represents aviation dream reduced to absolute essentials salvaged from electrical generator and wings covered with plastic polyethylene bags. The Kilonzo presents this exact vision where minimum possible materials attempt transformation into flying machine that defies every conventional construction wisdom while inspiring equal parts translation, creating compounding problems. Structure constructed remains simple tubular skeleton welded using ground mechanics, experience without formal analysis of bending moment, turns, brakes, and even visually deceives its own lift coefficient making actual flight possible. Meanwhile, in Indonesian workshops, ambitious builders attack helicopter complexity armed with welding equipment and extraordinary persistence. Show Kaharuddin's helicopter to rotorcraft engineer in the United States, and you'll probably trigger a spontaneous cardiac event as complimentary gift. Show it to hangar guy accustomed to hot rods, backyard dragsters, and trail ultralights, and he'll scratch chin thoughtfully saying, "Okay, that's crazy, but this guy's persistent as hell." Living in Bengkulu on Sumatra Island, Kaharuddin decided helicopters aren't exclusive privilege of Bell, Robinson, or Airbus manufacturers. The Kaharuddin helicopter, constructed without kit access, official plans, or factory support, uses most expensive currency existing in low-income context. Half the family's annual income invested in aircraft that hasn't flown yet but already exceeds complexity most people would dare attempting. Technically, the project represents honest Frankenstein of backyard engineering, combining whatever works locally. Structure built from welded metal tubes forms chassis resembling some experimental helicopters and simple gyrocopters documented internationally. Unlike someone purchasing rotorway or safari kit with comprehensive manual, he designed everything mentally and on dirt workshop floor: mast assembly, main rotor attachment, engine mounting, transmission system, pitch controls, pedals, absolutely everything based on trial and error methodology rather than established engineering documentation. In early versions, helicopter clearly weighed excessively for available engine power, creating predictable problems. In helicopters, weight-to-power ratio proves even more cruel than fixed-wing aircraft. Without adequate margin, rotor simply never generates sufficient lift for safely unsticking from ground. Add possibly small rotor disc, blades with improvised profile, and rotor head lacking finesse of traditional collective and cyclic pitch system, and result becomes expected. Tremendous dust, tremendous noise, minimal altitude if any sustained flight occurs at all during testing phases. Over time, he begins doing what any engineer would with limited resources: iterate continuously. Exchanges parts, reduces weight, reinforces weak points, adjusts control geometry, modifies engine installation, tests, and retreats when necessary, learning from each attempt. Some videos show helicopter managing to lighten partial weight on skid supports, creating sort of half float still connected to ground. Ugandan builders take completely different approach, constructing composite aircraft with methodical engineering, proving proper materials, selection matters tremendously. Imagine 3 individuals decided creating their own Sonex, KR, or Landcare without catalog, without plans, without technical hotline, in reality where local aerospace industry simply doesn't exist anywhere nearby. The project appears like well-designed kit, but lacks manufacturer entirely. The aircraft, 94%, proves most remarkable aspect. Technically, they're approaching success despite overwhelming obstacles that would defeat most amateur builders, even in developed nations with extensive support networks. Group-initiated project around 2015 with drawings, basic calculations, and ambitious plan. Construct light aircraft using most accessible modern materials available locally. Result combines carbon fiber, fiberglass, aluminum, steel, and wood in distribution, closely matching what structural engineer would specify. Carbon in areas requiring maximum rigidity, including wings and landing gear attachment points. Fiberglass, and wood in less critical zones. At prototype's heart sits 2 piston engine producing 64 horsepower, fed by mixed system, gravity and electric pump. Resembles certain ultralights and motor gliders using small engines with reduction drives. Ugandans took additional step. Instead of accepting engine would spin propeller directly at excessive speed, they implemented pulley system reducing rotation acting as simple reduction drive, showing clear understanding that small engine prefers spinning fast. This pulley reduction drive perhaps represents strongest signal that project sits closer to serious aviation logic than improvised toy. Allows engine working in more efficient RPM range while propeller spins slower with more torque available. From systems perspective, aircraft remains in stage any American home builder recognizes instantly. 94% complete means work still lies ahead. Japanese media artists prove that anime-inspired designs can transcend fantasy when backed by professional aeronautical engineering and rigorous testing protocols. Show the OpenSky M02J to American. Accustomed seeing RV-8, Landcare, and Glacier at Oshkosh, and most probable reaction becomes, is that a wingsuit with engine attached somehow. OpenSky emerged from mind of Kazuhiko Hachiya, Japanese media artist obsessed with bringing off paper literally the flying board from Nausicaa by Studio Ghibli Animation. The OpenSky M02J, instead of becoming another cosplay for convention, he decided executing properly. Aerodynamics, engineering, testing, and real flight. First incarnation M02 was purely glider configuration. Pilot flies prone position with body serving as part of control system, shifting center of gravity and actuating movable surfaces. This already represents stability nightmare for any engineer because you mix pilot mass, body movement, and traditional control and structure with little inertia and minimal tail surfaces. To avoid becoming fatality statistic, aeronautical engineer Tota Ueno entered project transforming stylized mock-ups into functional wing profiles. Initial tests provided humility lessons. Short launches with elastic cable, low altitude hops on slopes, everything within flight envelope of ultralight glider. Question remained simple. Does this strange thing with prone pilot and practically no tail want to fly or want to kill someone immediately? Answer, after much profile adjustment, wing position, pitch control, and rudder refinement was, yes, flight possible, but within quite narrow limits requiring exceptional pilot skill in favorable conditions. Then comes part transforming project into legend. M02J, where J means jet propulsion. Hachiya takes same structural base and decides installing small turbojet, type used in aerial targets or military drones. At this moment, any American who read experimental certification manual thinks 3 things: structural reinforcement, thermal protection, flight envelope expansion, management. He accomplishes exactly that, reinforcing fuselage and protecting tail. Ghanaian brothers demonstrate home-built philosophy thrives using square tubes, Volkswagen engines, and determination inherited from childhood mechanical experiments. Walk any airport ramp, and experienced mechanics immediately recognize builders who chose differently, dedicating years, transforming raw materials into flying machines. 2 brothers passionate about mechanics. Since childhood, began building homemade cart at 8 years old. The goofy 1601 from Isaac and Jacob Labby brothers fits perfectly in EAA mindset, where basement builders transform aluminum into aircraft. Structural base remains anything but sophisticated, yet remarkably familiar. Square iron tubes forming fuselage, aluminum sheets for skin, plywood reinforcement at critical points, and used Volkswagen engine as power plant. Philosophy closely resembles ultralights employing VW engine as departure platform. Here represents YouTube videos, Air Force officer tips, and trial and error in backyard workspace. Aircraft designed as light two-seater with maximum takeoff weight around 757 kilograms. Wings designed removable, representing intelligent engineering detail facilitating truck transport and storage in small spaces. Volkswagen engine repurposed from automobile was adapted for spinning propeller. Cooling continues being ambient air passing around engine from creativity rather than specification. Aircraft already achieved important milestone, engine starts and taxis convincingly. At small aviation field in Accra with Civil Aviation Authority permission, Goofy 1601 traverses runway, responds to controls, brakes, and maneuvers. Represents taxi test phase, discovering control slop, vibration, and brake behavior intimately. Ethiopian rejection stories reveal how 1 centimeter measurement can redirect entire life toward backyard aircraft construction using salvaged Volkswagen components. If you're a pilot in the United States and heard stories about failing medical examination, you understand how single detail destroys aviation dream. Ethiopian Airlines Aviation Academy maintained minimum height requirement. He measured 1 centimeter below threshold. The Asmelash Zeferu, instead of accepting defeat, decided constructing his own aircraft using whatever materials remained available locally. Primary raw material consisted of salvage components exclusively. Fuselage represents skeleton constructed from repurposed metal without aeronautical certification. Everything remains exposed without continuous structural skin, distributing loads. Wing follows identical logic. Simple design, poorly refined profile, without flaps or high-lift devices augmenting performance during critical phases. At nose sits Volkswagen Beetle engine, famous air-cooled boxer that already powered legitimate ultralights. But difference proves enormous between properly converted VW with reduction drive versus Beetle engine merely adapted. In serious conversions, people study torque curve and select pitch carefully. Here, engine exists functioning but without complete refinement necessary for safe operations. Testing occurs on improvised runway without smooth pavement or generous length. He wears motorcycle helmet as principal safety item communicating budget clearly. Enters naked cabin without impact absorption or protective cage. Scene demonstrates courage but triggers serious concern from experienced perspective. Chinese rural ingenuity attacks agricultural aviation challenges, combining water pump technology with motorcycle engines, creating hybrid powertrains from available farm equipment. Rural Chinese farmer surveys his rice fields, observes logistics challenges, witnesses forest fires, and thinks practically. Aircraft here would solve numerous problems immediately. Without air tractor catalog or credit line for certified agricultural plane, he pursues only available path. The Jung Shu lives in Sichuan rural area with peasant income, but possesses vision that aircraft represents practical tool rather than mere hobby. Fuselage emerges from agricultural machinery remnants reinforced with welding throughout structure. Wheels and landing gear adapted for irregular ground. Includes practical genius touch, retractable wheel system facilitating transport in tight spaces. Not beautiful, but functional. In propulsion department, creativity becomes aggressive, combining water pump components with motorcycle engine parts, literally assembling hybrid powertrain with available pieces. Project maintains 3 clear missions: planting seeds in difficult access areas, spraying pesticides on remote crops, fighting forest fires in isolated zones. This represents subsistence agricultural plane, not recreational toy. Makes him think about robustness and cargo capacity, but budget mandates everything else, including material selection throughout build process, demanding constant compromises between ideal and achievable solutions. Technically, limitations appear quickly. Motorcycle engine plus water pump represents interesting idea, but crashes against old aviation problems. Insufficient power for weight, lack of optimized reduction system, ignorance of torque curve matching propeller. Tests show same pattern. Aircraft rolls, propellers spin, engine screams, but acceleration remains too low. Ghanaian metal fabrication skills meet helicopter ambitions, creating arguably most terrifying rotorcraft project, featuring roofing materials transformed into rotor blades. If one project from this list would make any North American helicopter engineer sweat coal just looking, it's Wimma 005 from Ghana. Not a rotorway, not a safari, not well-documented kit. Helicopter literally assembled with whatever available, including roofing blade becoming rotor blade. The Wimma 005 appears more like post-apocalyptic movie scenario than aircraft for anyone accustomed to R22, R44, and maintenance manuals filled with torque tables. Main structure consists simple tubular fuselage welded, forming something resembling cage for single occupant. Visually recalls buggy or off-road cart structures, but with main rotor mounted on top. No structural fairing working together with truss. Helicopter skin basically consists wind-hitting bare tube. This means all structural rigidity depends on weld quality, truss geometry, and tube thickness without sophisticated analysis. Most critical and frightening point remains main rotor. Instead of blades with proper airfoil profile, controlled twist, and specific materials, Wimma 005 utilizes flat metal blades, most probably repurposed from roofing sheets. This generates gigantic technical problems list. Profile practically non-existent, functioning more like spinning ruler than airfoil. Twist along length not optimized. Balancing precarious, creating monstrous vibration. Tail rotor also suffers. Small, made with simple blades, spins irregularly, sometimes stopping and restarting. For helicopter, this practically represents death sentence in flight because tail rotor combats main rotor torque, keeping nose pointed where desired. Without tail authority, any major power application becomes pirouette. Good news, never gets high enough entering that dangerous regime. Ugandan community organizations demonstrate collective approach, studying 8 years before constructing helicopter, proving patience and methodology sometimes outweigh individual courage. Helicopter Project Uganda represents collective, organized, and somewhat more mature version of same idea. Let's build helicopter where aerospace industry doesn't exist. Here, not single guy in backyard, but 3 recurring names: Ronald Kagugube, Moses Sentalo, James Sendi, working under United Community Technology Initiative banner. Community organization wanting to prove advanced technology can also emerge in Uganda. Story begins with something any American engineer respects: long, boring study period. Reports mention almost 8 years reading physics, mechanics, and basic aerodynamics books before project gained current form. Not formal course or university, but what they possess. Buying books, discussing concepts, applying in mock-ups, making mistakes, and redoing. For people accustomed seeing manufacturer manuals and FAR Part 27 as reference, this seems primitive, but represents possible intellectual fuel. Visible prototype in videos shows welded tubular structure with simple cabin forward, central mast for main rotor, and long tail boom. Visually recalls light helicopter skeleton, something between home-built and mock-up. Tubes appear dimensioned with some structural concern and general geometry, resembles established layouts with central mast, truss tail, simple skid landing gear. This shows team-studied real helicopters attempting copying basic successes rather than inventing completely from scratch. In videos, helicopter appears with main rotor, spinning tied to ground, restrained or maintained, while team observes vibration, noise, torque behavior. Practically represents prolonged ground test campaigns similar in spirit to rotation tests any rotorcraft manufacturer conducts, but with infinitely smaller resources. Organization mentions third test and trending toward flight, meaning they're attempting mastering mechanical portion, controlling vibration, verifying joint integrity, adjusting shaft alignment possibly. Which project impressed you most with sheer determination despite lacking resources? Share thoughts and comments, helping fellow aviation enthusiasts understand extreme homebuilding challenges. Did these stories change your perspective on experimental aircraft construction? Hit that like button if you want more content examining aviation realities that marketing never discusses openly. Subscribe and activate notifications, ensuring you never miss investigations, separating dreams from aerodynamic truth. Watch the videos appearing here on screen and stay with us. Bye-bye.